The light from the heavens illuminates you, just like a Ferris lamp. I tell you these profound philosophers, and Chris just loves to hide her cluelessness. What a comedy. Soon enough, Chris got her chance to head north, and Ron sent her off like a star farewell. Ron totally fell for the energetic guy, proposing to adopt Chris as their part, like wanting a pet. Chris is currently utterly fearless, with no one able to halt her forward stride. She's absolutely on fire. After nearly 2 years of wandering, Chris finally made it to far-off Alaska, like an explorer. After thanking the last farewell person, Chris packed her almost empty supplies, like a fitness crawler, unstoppably heading into the wild. She marched like a pilgrim toward her utopia, legs measuring the snowy wilderness, a live snow mountain detector. She raced through the snow and crossed icy rivers, and after a few days in the wilderness, she discovered a vintage bus. This bus was clearly a makeshift shelter from the past. What a surprise, like finding treasure. She joyfully named this bus the Magic Bus, deciding to happily crash here in what felt like a gift from the heavens. Surrounded by fresh fields and an endless sky, it felt like she entered the game with infinite freedom. She immersed in the wilderness, time seemingly froze, fatigue and pain flew out the window. Gone were the noises of civilization, just the harmony of nature. Chris soared like a superhero in the wild. When the weather was good, she rushed to the mountain peak for breathtaking views. At night she had classics for company. What a poetic drifter. But weeks later, her food was nearly gone. It was like the Hunger Games in real life. She picked up a hunting rifle and began hunting, relying on nature's bounty to survive until the snow melted, like a well-fed wild creature. One day, she unexpectedly hunted down a beast weighing hundreds of kilos. It was the VIP of her hunting career. She excitedly pulled out the processing nuts from farm workers, ready for a killing spree, planning to smoke the food for preservation, but she couldn't keep up with the growth speed of the food. What a comedy of errors. 2 days later she found all the meat infested with maggots and sadly wrote in her diary, "This is one huge prank. I'd rather not have killed this super VIP, it'll be one of the biggest jokes in my life." Chris thought maybe she should just become a vegetarian. One day while reading Tolstoy, she stumbled upon a touching passage. Her heart felt like a little spider weaving a web. What a fun feeling. Harmony in company, what truly is happiness. Chris' thoughts were more complex than a spider web, tangled in emotions. Her heart felt like a little spider, needing a safe corner. The web was too complicated. Her feelings were as complex as a spider's web, wishing she could put up a private sign for her heart. Trees popped out at night, owls perched silently, while Chris secretly planned how to raid the pantry. The riverbed was flooding, and Chris looked skeptically at the raging current, nature's emotional roller coaster. She hesitated whether to cross. The raging river's invitation made her slip up repeatedly. What a challenge. Accidentally fell into the river. The swift current nearly swept her away. What an unexpected swimming lesson. She struggled to climb back to shore, only to find her return path blocked by evil forces, forced to head back to the Magic Bus. Looking at the dark wilderness, Chris wrote in her diary for the first time, loneliness and fear. What a dark indie film moment. Chris was forced to stay in the wilderness, realizing all the animals had mysteriously disappeared, like a mass animal vacation. Alone in the wild, waiting for all the snow to melt, she's like a lone hero, impossible to overlook. Lacking food, Chris started to shrink. Her belt was getting tighter just like her moods. Subtitles. Waking up, she felt weak as if she had been juiced, and her mood was no longer a fruit pie. After confirming that she had eaten the poisonous berries, Chris finally understood what true despair was and realized that some aquatic plants could be poisonous too. She wrote that only sharing leads to happiness, yet she had only dry water left, forced to be alone. Facing the arrival of death, Chris felt like it was game over, yet her heartbeat continued to tick. She looked at the sunlight outside, crossing back to the familiar yard, eager to jump into her parents' arms. Her feelings poured like a heavy rain, wanting to dive into a warm embrace, attempting to restart life. The last tear fell. Her life was frozen in that moment, as tranquil as a painting. 2 weeks following Chris' solitary death, a group of hunters stumbled upon her body, just like a scene straight out of a movie. They found a photo from Chris Kara, realizing it was her unauthorized limited edition shot. Christopher McCandless, that sounds like a celebrity name. What an interesting combination. The film was directed by Sean Penn, an Oscar-winning actor, who must be a great director given his fame. He spent over 2 hours shaping an unparalleled dream of freedom, only to shatter it quickly. After this brilliant dream, only survival remained. Chris took 2 years to complete an impossible journey. Everything that happened during the journey was recorded. Now it looks like an absurd theater. Were Chris' actions extreme or worthy of praise? The film leaves it for the audience to ponder. What a captivating plot. If you really enjoyed this humorous version, don't forget to subscribe to my channel.